make it easier for posting. Okay, creating an org chart. Sorry, I was just putting a break in the video there. You say, well, let's be ultimately flexible and reassign, moment by moment who's doing what, which actually, for small teams, can in fact work. When Wayne and I were doing Sundog, we had a couple coders who did some other little bits, but it was mostly me and Wayne. Actually, I did most of the coding myself. But Wayne was heavily involved in design. We didn't have an org chart. It's like we're working on this together. Once you get beyond a few people, then you start to increase the risk of stuff falling into gaps between you. And unless it's like, well, I thought you were doing that. Well, I thought you were doing that. Well, didn't you know I was going to do this? Well, no, and I'm doing this. Well, these two things don't fit together. So what you want, the reason why you have an organization is because you want to determine what gatekeeping each person is responsible for. This isn't ready until I say it's ready, or you come and take it from me. You want to define what problems each given person is responsible for solving, and you want to define the lines of communications, because as you add people, the number of potential communication links goes up exponentially. 2 to the n minus 1, minus 1. Yeah, forget the exact. It's roughly there. So once we start getting down to a few people, and also, guys, quite frankly, this is what you're going to deal with when you get out in the real world. You're going to be assigned an organization. Now, there are problems. Well, you have why do it? Also, Conway's Law, something Brooks mentioned, you should have read about, which is that the architecture of a system under development reflects the organization that developed it. Because communication channels within the organization end up mapping to the interfaces. So what do you want to do? You want to organize your team to match the architecture you desire. Which is why in past projects, groups will often have, here's the client or mobile device side development team, here's the server side development team, here's the database architect down here, so on and so forth. One of the articles we will talk about is how to retain IT talent with goal alignment, something that we did successfully at Pages. I still have to take roll too. Possible roles and titles. I want a project manager and a chief architect on every team. Other than that, feel free to figure out how to divide it up. Challenge you're going to find, and this is a real world challenge, is that you're going to have competition for project spots that are seen as being more prestigious. It's like, well, I really don't want to do QA. Actually, I think QA is one of the most important jobs, personally. But one of the first team dynamic problems you're going to have is deciding how you decide who gets what role. You may actually end up putting in a fair number of billable hours this week just trying to decide that. And in a separate document, org chart is like a box, and there are sample org charts in the prior wiki. It should show some sort of device. You say a box. If you want ovals, you can do ovals. If you want little clouds, you can do little clouds. Name, title, lines of communication. To the extent there's management, indicate who is managing what, or who is reporting to whom. You can come up with funny titles if you want. This is a site that just generates Silicon Valley job titles. And the sad thing is, this is pretty much, this is exactly what you see.
Do it again.
Silicon Valley, trust me. These are all exactly. You see these all the time. I love this site. Anyway. So, but for the roles and responsibilities, actually describe what the person's supposed to do. In other words, if you say UX, say this person's responsible for the user experience on the target platform device, and we'll do this, and we'll work with so-and-so, graphics and so on. If you have a smaller team, you may have multiple roles or a single role with great expanded responsibilities. Challenges in organizing a team, like I said, deciding how you're going to decide, competition for prestige jobs. Available talents may not always match required positions. You may find yourself readjusting the scope of your planned project when you start to design this. Keep in mind that your org chart you're perfectly free to change your org chart in the roles and responsibility document through the course semester. Because you may start with an organization and say this isn't working, or we're going to move so-and-so here and so on. That's good use. Plus, as per Armour, you may not know what you need yet, and it's not know what you don't know. So, want this up. I need to be able to see this, so if you're doing it somewhere other than public on the wiki, you need to get me and Ty all the information so I can bring it up, and we will have someone from your team, it can be whoever's designated as project manager or anyone else you want to designate, come up and give 5-minute explanation of what they did and why they did it next week. And just a few more here. This is so good. It's actually just scary how true this is.
Oh, I want to be the right minister.
So from last semester, here's one org chart. Here is, let me back up. Here's another one. I mean, pretty plain vanilla here.
You gotta click the link.
Oh, got to click again here. Yes, there we go. There's another one. So, it doesn't have, I don't expect it to be fancy. In fact, I'd rather be simple and informative. Yes?
So my last internship, the team I was on was organized so we had like a project manager, we had an architect, and we had like a pool of engineers that just kind of got assigned stuff at like the weekly scrum.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything
If you want to do that, do that. Just make it very clear in the org chart and the roles and responsibilities.
Okay.
Let me, what the heck, everyone gets credit for being here today. Won't take roll. Of course, you guys are all like, wait, I showed up.
Yeah.
People who didn't come get credit.
Yeah, do you want an angry mob? Because that's how you get an angry mob.
So maybe I will.